2020, probably slightly down, yeah, too.
And is that a function of what? The franchise films not carrying things? Is that a streaming situation?
I really don't think it's a streaming situation. I think if you look, there's been a lot of negativity about the box office. I think folks think, you know, there's this advent of streaming and therefore no one's going to the movies. And the fact is the attendance declines have been pretty steady, down 1%.
Right.
Every year for the last 5 years on average. And, you know, if you look actually at the box office in the last, I think since 2000, there have been 12 record box office years. So we've seen great years at the box office. The problem is they're franchise dependent. And you look into 2020, and there's not a lot of big known franchises.
To me, that does sound like a streaming issue. I don't go to the movies as much because I can stream. I do go to the movies when it's some big blockbuster or I want to hear the sound effects and see them on the big screen, and speaks right to your...
No, I don't want to say there's no streaming impact. I just think it's overblown. You're absolutely right. There is a streaming impact. The small, kind of not huge blockbuster movies, I do think they're getting hurt by streaming. You're thinking, I can just watch something at home. I don't need to go to the box office. But I do think the big box office movies are working really, really well, and that's kind of making up for it. So when you look into 2020, you don't have a lot. You have two Pixars, you have two Marvels, but they're not like big, you know, franchise names that you're absolutely sure you're going to go to.
Here's what I don't understand. Disney had 7, I believe, billion-dollar box office movies in 2019. Yeah. 7, and yet the box office numbers are down. So who's suffering?
Well, they're only down 3%, and then you're coming off of a record year too. So keep in mind. But
Disney had a blowout.
The answer to your question, who's suffering, is all the mid-size, right? They're not quite as good. You've had a lot of movies that also didn't do quite so well. Not necessarily from Disney. I think Disney's gained tremendous.
What was the biggest? Charlie. What was the biggest bomb? Charlie's Angels? No, that
Cats.
Playmobil. That's large.
Just ask my daughters.
Give them a chance. It's coming back. They're redoing it, right?
Cats.
Changed it.
My kids did a review.
Apparently, there was a Playmobil animated movie that made like $65.
We can't name the bombs because we can't remember them because they did so poorly.
Okay, let's talk about, you have another call. This is direct-to-consumer in terms of the direct-to-consumer evolution. Yes. What's going to happen? Who's going to win? 2020, I think, is going to be the year of churn. Okay. Right? We've had this proliferation of new streaming services. There's going to be more, right? We've got Peacock, we've got HBO Max, we've got Quibi, we've got a bunch coming out. I think you're going to see consumers try them all and then turn off really quickly. I think I read the stat that there's 10% churn every month. Just from guys already. So is your take that people will try them and then never come back, or they will try them for a certain show or two and then turn them off so that they? So he's watching a show on Epix right now, right?
Godfather Harlem. Okay, so very complicated. How do you get access to it? Do you have to subscribe to Epix? Somehow I was able to get it on Prime.
The question I have is, do you think that people will watch Ray Donovan or Success, whatever the show is, binge it all in 1 month? Turn it off, then go turn on Epix, then turn it off, then go turn on Apple Plus, then turn it off like that?
There'll be some steadies. I think Disney Plus will be a steady. I think Netflix will be a steady. There'll be some steadies, but there's no question people will get on to Peacock, get on HBO Max, whatever you fill in the blank. Watch a few shows and get off.
I don't want to